Good morning to you. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome to our ride this morning. Glad to have you. We're just in our warm-up right now. Pedaling softly, checking in with our bodies, setting our intentions for the day. Let's start off with checking in with our body position, shall we? Just rest your hands lightly on the handlebars. See if you can wiggle your fingers. And now check and make sure your elbows are slightly bent and your shoulders are away from the ears. And I want you to adjust your resistance so it's just super light. And if you're on a regular spin bike, unlike my freewheel bike here, if you're on a regular spin bike, get a tiny bit of resistance. Don't pedal it without any resistance at all. Always have just a little bit on. So we get super light resistance on. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. And now let's check with our neck and our spine. We want them to be nicely aligned, not stiff and not arched in any way, just nice and relaxed, so that we end up with about a 5 to 10 foot gaze out ahead of us. The idea is that we keep all kinds of relaxation in the upper body. You might want to try this. Sit up and then pedal, separating the upper body from the lower body. I'll show you what that looks like. That way we can decouple the upper body and the lower body and really drive that pedal stroke from the hips down. Good. Take a deep breath. Let your belly relax. And let's just keep this nice light resistance we have on here. And see if you can accelerate your legs up to the rhythm of this song. And the best way to do this is to just close your eyes and feel for the rhythm. Beautiful mind-body practice. Just accelerating, not adding resistance. Just feeling for this rhythm. And as we do this, let's make sure our hips stay nice and steady on the saddle. We don't want to bounce. We want to stitch together that beautiful full circle pedal stroke by scraping mud off the ball of the foot. Pushing over the top with our hips. We'll notice that more when we get to heavier work, but the glutes, lower back are involved in pushing over the top. We'll pay attention to that later in the class. Meanwhile, light resistance, warming up the legs, feeling that rhythm. This is all so good for us. As we hold this rhythm, it's around 90 RPM if you have a computer on your bike at home. We start to notice the breath picking up, we start to notice the heart rate coming up, starting to feel like the legs are getting warm and loosening up. Let's reach down now. Let's add a little resistance, just enough that we feel it in the muscles of the legs. I don't want this to be a very challenging effort. I just want to add a little work to the muscles of the legs. Holding our rhythm. Relaxing the shoulders. Shake out your arms. Yes. Now we're going to transition. Keep the same resistance you have, and I want you to slow your legs down. And we're going to feel for this new rhythm, this feeling for the beat with the legs. Such an important part of the RevoCycle mind and body cycling practice. It requires us to be present. It requires us to really feel. Okay. Those of you at home with computers are at about 71 RPM. I want us all now to add resistance that feels very challenging, like we've hit a moderate hill. In terms of perceived exertion, we should be about a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Definitely feeling it in the muscles now. Breath is picking up. Let's keep the upper body relaxed. Wiggle your fingers, just rest your hands on the bars. And for sure now, we can feel the glutes pushing over the top through the heel of the foot. Now when I give you the signal, we're going to accelerate the legs off of the rhythm, upward in speed, keeping the same resistance for about 10 to 15 seconds. Now I want you to focus on keeping your hips nice and steady on the saddle and the upper body stays relaxed. So you're ready. In 2 and 1. Accelerate those legs off the rhythm. I want you to close your eyes and breathe deeply through this. Belly breathing. Now slow the legs back down to the rhythm. Should have gotten your heart rate up even higher. Heavier breathing. Now get ready. We're going to transition back to flat road. Bringing the resistance back down to very light. I want you to just quiet your mind and feel for this rhythm. Light resistance. This is the mind and the body together. And just allow your legs to find that rhythm. It's there. Take a deep breath from the belly. Now we're going to enter a very challenging hill now that we've established the rhythm with the muscles of the legs. reaching down, add resistance till it feels like we've hit a very steep hill. And I want you to notice the glutes come into play here in the lower back. Holding our rhythm. It's okay to notice the discomfort in the muscles of the legs. I want you to feel your way around that circle. Now, those of you that are new to RevoCycle, when we stand up out of the saddle in hills, we add resistance before we stand. We add to the point where we can't pedal seated anymore and must rise into it with our body weight. So practice that. It's a nice skill, holding the rhythm, adding resistance, and rising into it. It's very challenging. You shouldn't be able to hold a standing section more than a minute or a minute and a half. That's how hard it is. Are you ready? In 2. And 1. Add that in. Hold the rhythm and rise up. You notice my hands stay light on the bars. Easing back into the saddle, still climbing, but just less resistance now. Bringing ourselves back to flat road. Good. Now's the time to check in with your breathing. If you're used to our RevoCycle classes and added such a heavy resistance that you had to stand into it, you would be out of breath like I am now. If you're not, that's okay. Practice finding that super heavy resistance that you must stand onto. Meanwhile, we're back on flat road. Let's take our light resistance and just bring our leg speed up. And as we do that, quick body check. Shoulders. Away from the ears. Hands light on the bars, elbows slightly bent. Take a big breath from the belly. Right now, we feel the rhythm of the song. It's about 86 RPM. And I would like for all of us now to bring in the resistance that feels like we couldn't hold this for 5 minutes. Bring it in. Yourself this opportunity to start to dig deep. Right. If you want to close your eyes now and just picture out ahead of you a beautiful flat road. No cars, no traffic, no stoplights, no stop signs. We're just moving along at a steady, fast pace. Closing the eyes, checking with your breathing. this is not challenging to you, you have control of the resistance now. Bring up the resistance as you hold the rhythm. All right, bring your resistance back down to very light. Let's sit up, shake out the shoulders and the arms, and breathe from the belly for about 10 seconds, okay? Now, just allow your legs to find this rhythm. It's a practice. I love this practice of feeling for the rhythm. Those of you with the computer at home, we're at about 60, 58 RPM. So, for the next 3 minutes or so, we're going to climb very hard. Let's start in the saddle with very, very heavy resistance. Can barely turn the pedals at this rhythm. I want you to notice something. You see me? I look relaxed, right? My hands are still light. My shoulders are still away from the ears. But right now, I'm pushing extremely heavy resistance and I'm feeling that drive from the hips. This is what we want. Beautiful, relaxed, strong pedaling stroke. You can hear my breath picking up, yeah? See if you can mimic this position. Could you hold a glass of champagne without spilling it? That's a good test. Okay, everybody ready to stand? Remember, add resistance so it's so heavy. You can't pedal it in the seated position. You must rise up into it. In 3, in 2, in 1. Crank it up and ease out onto the pedals. Using our body weight to drive that pedal stroke. I want you to sense the hips and the glutes taking that shift side to side as you step into it. Yes, this is hard. My hands are still light, you see that? Now ease back into seated climbing for a few more seconds. And bring your resistance all the way back down. Now I can assure you, I'm in really good cycling shape, but I added so much resistance there that it got me out of breath. The amount of resistance required for you to stand up onto the pedals will be different from mine, and that's okay. It's a feeling. It's subjective. So that's what we talk about. We never say give a half turn or quarter turn. We talk about feelings. And our feeling right now is very light resistance. Just pedaling easy, gathering our breath. Quick body scan, shall we? Close your eyes. Starting with your neck, take all the tension out of your neck. And now make sure your shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. Your elbows are slightly bent, your weight is settled into the saddle beautifully, your belly is relaxed. Now, with our light resistance, let's start to accelerate our legs upward. Now, I want you to try and reach about 106 RPM. Now remember, those of you with a regular indoor cycle that has a fixed gear, make sure you have at least a little resistance on here. Don't do it without any resistance. There, I'm at the rhythm right now. Now I want you to notice something. Not bouncing in the saddle. My upper body remains calm. The pedal stroke is originating through the hips. You see that? Check your position. Breathe deeply. Good. Now, once we've established this rhythm, let's go ahead and make this a very, very hard effort by adding resistance for just 15 seconds. And I want it to feel on a perceived exertion scale for you, 7 or 8. Quite hard, okay? Close your eyes, take a deep breath from your belly. Let's get ready. In 2. And 1. Add that resistance so it's a 7 or 8 in perceived exertion. I can feel it. Notice I'm still relaxed, it's not bouncing. Now, take that resistance back down to very light, but hold your rhythm. Check your out of breathness. That should get you very much out of breath. If it didn't, guess what? You got one more shot at it. All about feel. All about feel. All right, take a deep breath from your belly. Exhale. Add that resistance again. 7 or 8 on a perceived exertion. Hold the rhythm. Just feel that muscle engagement. Drive from the hips. Scrape the mud through the bottom. A little bit more. Good. Get your resistance down to very light, very light. Gather yourself. A little active recovery. What's so lovely about this perceived exertion feel approach is that no matter what fitness level we're at, we can all get the same workout. You can tell I'm sweating, I'm out of breath from that. How are you feeling? Let's let our breath recover a little bit. Now I have a challenge for you guys. We're going to add resistance so it feels like it's the steepest hill we could pedal in the seated position. At this rhythm, you see how my legs have already found the rhythm? About 60, 63 if you've got a computer on your bike. Are you ready? Heaviest resistance you can turn at this rhythm And we'll hold it maybe a couple minutes, okay? Are you ready? In 2 and 1. Add that in. Now is the time to start some deep rhythmic breathing from the belly. Just let your belly hang out. It's perfectly acceptable. Now we've got maybe 30 seconds. Can you add a little bit more? Even though I'm making huge power here, I still look relaxed. Bringing our resistance back down to light again. Check your breathing. If you have a heart rate monitor on, check that now. At RevoCycle, we are really very strong believers in the mind and the body connection. Aligning ourselves to the rhythm of the song, being really present as we work, are ways to connect the body and the mind. And that, in turn, reduces stress, makes us feel happier, really gets us into the moment. So I want to practice that on this song. Using your light resistance, accelerate your legs up. We want to get to about 95 or so at light resistance right now. So this doesn't hurt, it's not uncomfortable. We're just trying to align our legs to the rhythm of the song. And as we do this, let's do another quick body check, shall we? Shoulders away from the ears, neck and spine aligned. Very neutral, no arching. This results in about a 10-foot gaze right out ahead of us. Your hips solid on the saddle, but dynamic. Your weight settled beautifully. All right, let's bring in some resistance now. And I'm going to give the rest of the song to you. We'll have about 2.5 minutes. So get a resistance that makes it a little bit scary to finish that 2.5 minutes, okay? That's where we find ourselves. Give yourself that opportunity. And let's settle in. Do you notice your mind wandering? If so, just notice the thoughts and come back. That's the art of mindfulness. That's the practice of mindfulness. If you can, bring a little bit more in. We're almost there. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, stay with me. Now reduce your resistance down. Light resistance, slow legs. How do you feel? Doesn't it feel good? Cycling is moving meditation. So I'm just letting my legs find our new rhythm now. Remember, we went back to very light resistance. This is mind-body practice now, aligning our body to the rhythm of the music. Super easy exertion level, 1, 2. Just gathering our breath, using the rhythm to be present. You should notice that your breath is coming down, your breathing coming lighter, your heart rate is coming down. We're going to finish up this morning with a strong climb, and then we'll cool down, okay? First things first. Synchronize with the rhythm of this song. Establish our climbing rhythm. Step 2, add resistance so it feels like we just hit a big hill. Now remember, this is already uncomfortable because we're in a hill. Hills are uncomfortable. Hills are scary. That's why we do them. To learn about ourselves. To challenge ourselves. Now I'm going to add a little bit more. I feel I made my hill too shallow. I just made it steeper. Now we're going to stand. You remember what to do now. We add resistance so that it feels like we can't pedal it seated anymore and have to stand up onto the pedals. Just like you did when you were 5 years old, 6 years old, learning to ride a bike. In 3, 2, 1. Add that resistance. Rise into it. Using the body weight, stepping through the glutes. Now let me ask you a question. If you could do this for more than 2 minutes, I want you to add more resistance. Now let's come back into the saddle. Stay in your hill. This is where it's important to breathe from a relaxed belly. Relax your jaw. You ready to stand one more time? Add that resistance. Nice and tall. Stepping into it. You got this. All right. Bring your resistance all the way back. Slow your legs. You remember what I said earlier about perceived exertion? As I said, I'm in really good cycling shape, but I added enough resistance to that seated and standing section. It causes me to be out of breath right now. Like I said, that'll be different amount of resistance for all of us. But it'll be the same feeling, same out of breathness, same perceived exertion. That's the beauty of this. We can all do this together. Well, we're in full cool down mode. So congratulations. Excellent work. Let's let our bodies start to cool down. Very light resistance. Slow pedaling. Just go ahead and slow your legs down. And as we do this, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to intentionally relax your belly. Starting with your hands. Just notice how the handlebars feel under your hands. How much weight is there on your hands? How much weight is there on your sit bones? Can you shift some of that weight from the hands to the sit bones? Now slow the legs down even more, allowing the breath to recover, allowing the heart rate to come back down. I'm really paying attention to how the legs are starting to feel better. We've been riding 38 minutes now. Hopefully that feels like it went by really fast. That would be the goal. If it did, that meant we were focused and in the moment, in tune with our bodies, which is the goal. See if you can take a little more resistance out now. Make sure you have just a little bit if you're on fixed gear indoor cycle. The tiniest amount. So I want you to notice a couple things. You should feel much less stressed right now. You should feel a little bit of happiness, especially compared to the start of class. You should feel a sense of accomplishment. Those are so important to pay attention to. The rest will come. But if you pay attention to those three things, reduce stress, a little bit of happiness, sense of accomplishment, you can build a lifetime of movement. Because you'll start to seek those out. Because they're so great. And then the rest will come. I promise you. Okay. Our heart rates should be down, back to where they were at the start of class. We should feel mostly to fully recovered. Can you sit up with me and let your legs come to a stop? And we're going to just quickly check in with ourselves. Relax your belly. Align the vertebrae from the neck all the way through the spine down to the hip bones. And let's take 2 deep breaths together. Inhaling, and the belly expands. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more together. Inhale, feel the belly expand. And exhale. Well done. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you feel great. We have a PayPal account if you'd like to donate for our class. That's at the header of our RevoCycle Mind and Body Cycling YouTube channel. You can just click on it if you feel like donating. We would love that. We're glad that you took the class. I hope you feel good, and we look forward to seeing you in future classes. I'll let the music play a little bit longer for you so you can stretch, drink your water, and continue this wonderful feeling of being peaceful and relaxed through mindful movement. All right, thanks, guys. I'll give you a couple minutes, all right? Hope you have a great rest of your day. Look forward to seeing you in more classes here on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. You'll get notifications of our classes coming up. We're also on Moxie. You can find that through our Instagram page. And every now and then we do a class on Facebook as well. So connect to us through any of those channels. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you again soon.